Thank you very much, David, and thank you to everybody for attending this morning. It's wonderful, as David has said, to see such a wide range of participants. And this is a seminar, so we're talking about participation as simply been passively here. David rightly described it as a broad church of guests. So we've got not just our students and our colleagues, but artists, policymakers, people from right across the range of society concerned about this issue, which is a massive issue, obviously, for us all. It's not insignificant that our colleague David Kinsella, who'll speak to us shortly from our partners in Deloitte, that he's the lead partner for risk in Deloitte, and it is appropriate that climate is dealt with in that category. I think that Daire O'Brien must be the only person in Ireland with a tougher job, I think, than David. So David's responsibility for risk in terms of climate, cyber, you think of it. But it is very significant, I think, to see a partnership like Deloitte partnering with the university in terms of education and mitigation of saving the planet, which is literally on fire. And it is wonderful to see so many people here this morning. That last year's conference, the President of Ireland addressed us, and it was a full house for that too. But I think that today's participants are probably more varied and maybe more diverse. So it's wonderful to see the energy behind the centre, and that gives us all kind of great pleasure and really emphasises the importance of this work for the university and for ourselves. Just to echo David's welcome to everybody, it's good too to see members of the Diplomatic Corps here and their excellencies, and we're delighted to have you with us again, emphasising the kind of global nature of the challenges of which we discussed today. To thank again Deloitte for the partnership. Harry Goddard has been extraordinary in pushing that forward, but to echo David's thanks to David Kinsella, to Mary Madden and to Mark. A special thanks to Stephanie, who brought today's programme together for us. I'm really looking forward to hearing this morning's keynote speaker, Owen Dalton, who's a Renaissance man in every regard, and we're lucky to have him. In terms of the bio, describes him obviously as a rewilder, a farmer, an author, a sculptor. And he's all of those things, and I enjoyed one review where Caroline O'Doherty says that with Dalton we get a sculptor's eye, a naturalist's heart, a philosopher's head, and an adventurer's spirit. So with that kind of massive pitch, he's going to take to the stage here kind of shortly. And don't let them down. This is your big moment. So we're delighted to have you with us this morning. The conference, of course, lays out some of the massive themes of our age, nothing less than turning the tide on climate change and biodiversity loss, which is enormous for us. Universities like ours have a huge part to play, but I always say that the impact of the university is not just what happens in the lecture rooms or the labs or the sports halls or whatever, but it's through our friends, it's through our alumni, through our engaged partners, through yourselves. So it's wonderful to have this partnership here today. All of us have a huge role to play in preparing and empowering our students and society for the future. All those cliches about the power of education, nothing is more important than education, and that's why we have climate and sustainability at the heart of all that we do here. So as I say, it's wonderful to have people. As president of the university, I understand the challenge and the responsibilities, and I say that not because I'm arrogant, because I have the scars on my back from people like David and all the colleagues who remind me every single day of the challenge. And it is hugely important for us. This is a big institution, 20,000 students, 160 acres, 3,000 staff, lack of affordable accommodation in the area, commutes. How do you balance all of that with quality, engaged teaching and learning? It's a real challenge for a university, and not just making the university a more sustainable place, but through our education programs, through our kind of engagement more broadly and research, how do we make an impact on society? Not just changing ourselves, and how can we make a difference? And like that is, as I say, a massive responsibility. And we've risen to that in so many ways. We have our climate action plan, lays out ambitious plans for ourselves. And again, sustainable development is one of the drivers of the strategic plan, which I hope our governing authority will approve this afternoon. And by a driver, we're really talking about a hallmark or a watermark that sustainability will be visible in all that we do and will be apparent in all that we do. And how do we change that kind of rhetoric to reality? And that's, as I say, something that we have to do today. So events like this are important for us. And the Centre for Climate and Society is absolutely critical to kind of moving the dial. And specifically because of its emphasis on the humanities and social sciences, as the importance of communication as a complement to what some of our other colleagues are working on in, say, engineering and science and other disciplines. And the challenges sometimes between those different types of researchers is important for us too. So the big debates happen here. You will have seen, as David said, the display outside from the Children and Young People's Assembly on biodiversity loss. A great kind of indication of the impact of outreach, and the graphics, which are beautiful and appropriately completed by a lady called Hazel. Again, climate literacy, translating that into our programmes. The MSc in climate change is 5 years old at this stage since we took our first intake, and part of our curriculum renewal at undergraduate level, we have a wonderful BA in climate and environmental sustainability. That's exciting, and to see the level of engagement from the students, and I'm glad to see we've representatives here from the University of Notre Dame who are partnering with us in the delivery of this. All of this is important to us, as I say. The planet is on fire, and we can't be ignorant to that, and we can't ignore our responsibilities. So in conclusion then, just to reiterate the Céad Míle Fáilte, Owen's book that he'll speak about lately, the Irish Atlantic Rainforest, quotes Edward Wilson, who's, I think, regarded, or he was at one point, as the father of biodiversity. And Wilson calls out the need for all of us to understand that the biosphere does not belong to us, and we belong to it. And Owen calls for a collective vision and the courage to put that ethos in action. And that's, as I say, the challenge for all of us, and that's why it's so gratifying to see so many of us gathered in the room to work towards that end. So you're very, very welcome, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, and that you remain connected with the work of the Centre and the University. So thank you very much.